but it's not.
Okay, we're live now. So I was like,
Okay.
because
Fair enough.
I couldn't find the YouTube channel or the stream on my YouTube channel on my laptop, but I pulled it up on my phone, and it says
Yeah.
live in 11 hours.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely something with you.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's saying I'm live on my channel. Okay,
There you go.
here we
So,
go.
I sound fine, right?
Yep.
Last night I was having some trouble. I was trying to do a video for 1,000 videos that I've uploaded over 8 years, and it was did not go well last night. I sounded like a robot. Things weren't just, so I had to end it. I'm gonna try again, maybe later today, but it was a bad time.
I'm gonna DM Iron and see if he wants to come. Well, I have him on Discord.
Hmm. You're on Discord.
hmm I'm in Iron's Discord channel. I
Hmm.
don't. I barely use Discord though.
Yeah, I use it pretty often because I'm on Quality Autism's uh, channel defending the Deadingverse constantly. But it's okay. Noah's a good guy. He's just
Speaking
German,
of
so
the
he's always angry.
Dinning verse, I finished Darkness 1. Took me forever to finish it. That can tell you how much I liked it.
Oh,
I did not really enjoy it
yeah,
at all. It wasn't
yeah,
bad. It's just so boring. Like
right,
I don't
yeah,
care. I
yeah.
have seen Queen, but I haven't even started. I mean, I've started a little bit of it, but
I think
man, the
you'll
stuff
like.
is boring.
I think you'll like Legacy of the Force more. But
It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
boring.
I don't care about the Kilix at all in that trilogy or the whole crisis with the Chiss. The only thing I care about in that entire trilogy is all the prequel references because it's interesting to have OT characters actually get to like experience some of the prequel stuff because it's kind of
Mhm.
not really like Luke and Leia through R2D2 actually get to see their mother, which I think is a pretty significant deal, because they had all the movies out at that point, so they could finally do that. And so I thought that was nice. And then the only other part I cared about was Jason's entire arc, which I think holds up really well in that trilogy. But everything else I could care less about. If we could have just had a short story focused on Jason, like a four-parter, maybe each 100 pages, that'd be
I may
better
write
than.
one too.
But yeah, another thing about that, which is a bit jarring, because they don't address it till like you have a 9-book series after this, and then only after that with another 9-book series, do you have uh, references to what went on in between the 5 years of New Jedi Order and the series you're reading now, because it's been 5 years since New Jedi Order in Dark Nest, and Jason's clearly a different character than who he was in New Jedi Order. But you don't really get to see that development, or I guess devolvement, if you consider it devolvement, of his character. Um, and you only get to experience some of that when Luke and Ben go on their journey in Fate, which is a little annoying because it's like, okay, well, he's just like this now. But it does
Mm-hmm.
help be more accepting of Legacy of the Force, I feel. But
It's the only reason why I'm reading it because, well,
right, yeah.
post Jedi, so I have to read it because that's
If you
my.
hate if you hate Tino Ka's grandma, you might find some catharsis later. I'll leave it at that.
Wasn't he thrown in jail or something for killing Tenelka's mom, whatever the hell her name was?
I don't remember. I
Tenniel,
think she
something like
might
that.
have been. She either was or she was just detained for a time, but stuff will happen with her
She
that
literally
you might.
murdered the Queen Mother, so it's
Yeah,
like, hopefully
she's
she
kind of
wasn't just detained.
she's kind of been one of the worst people since she was introduced. She's up there with Thraken, but at least Thraken's like an evil doppelganger of Han, so it's kind of fun to have him around just because it's like Han but evil with a mustache. Like it's literally a mustache evil version of Han, and I kind of love that. So,
Good old Thraken Sal Solo.
oh, he also, but not in this series. In the next series, we'll get more Thraken. So,
Yeah, no, doesn't he get killed by Boba Fett or something?
Yes, and you'll have to read it. It's in the second book by Karen Travis. But
So that's a shame too, because these books have great covers, but the story is pretty
yeah,
bad.
I will say, I don't know. I think it's in this trilogy. We get some awesome moments with Leia. And for someone, because she has Skywalker blood in her, but for most of her life, we've only seen her really as a politician. I mean, she's done a few things. She fights a Hutt, in one trilogy, but she doesn't get to do much as a Jedi. So as we get into Legacy of the Force and Darkness and Fate of the Jedi, we get to see Leia. We've seen her be a politician for like 2 decades now. It's nice to see her finally kind of take on more of what her father did instead of what her mother did and become more of that Jedi. Sure, she'll never be like Luke, and I don't think that's because she's not as powerful. I think she could be. Is she's just severely hindered by the fact that it took her like 2 decades to finally start getting into this. So that's why she's still like really powerful. And so there's another powerful female for you before Disney, but they didn't exist before Disney. But
Apparently not.
she
Apparently,
kicks.
Janice Solo was never a thing before Disney. So
No, Jaina, what's that?
people would
Only
still
Ray.
say that today.
They would, yeah.
Who's Janice Solo? I never heard of her. Who's Jason Solo?
I know Ben Solo.
Yeah, all I know is Ben Solo. Who's Jason or Janice Solo? Who are those?
I'll say I have my grievances with all of the sequels. Kylo Ren was never one of them. I mean, I did think he was a bit too edgy, but I also read Legacy, and Cade is very edgy. So I didn't mind the edginess, and I thought he was the best thing about the new movies. But I do think Jason overall is a superior character. But he also had multiple books, so it's kind of cheating. Um, but I did like Kylo Ren, but that was probably my favorite part of the sequels. But I'm never gonna watch them again. But
My favorite part of the sequels was it was kind of the reason why I got into the EU. So
yeah.
there's that. That's my favorite part of the sequels.
Oh, that
Made
it
me
just got you
entertained.
into EU. Same. Without the sequels, I would have never. I still don't I can't pinpoint when I found out about Matt's channel. I I know it had something to do. I liked Kylo Ren, so I was trying to like look up more stuff about him, and through
Mm-hmm.
that, I learned about Jason Solo. I'm like, what the fudge is Jason Solo? And I went down that rabbit hole, and then I eventually found Matt Wilkins' entire expanded universe playlist, and I was like, what's that? And then I started watching that, and then from there, I kind of just figured it out. And I was like, oh, there's this whole thing before 2014. Bless you.
Excuse me. Um, I found Matt. He had just uploaded Dark Empire 2, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So April 2020, there's that, and then or if it's April 2020 is probably when I found. But I started reading the EU beforehand because I always knew about it. I just didn't really care for it.
Mm.
Then I started and I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So, dude, there's still nobody in this stream.
Nobody at all. Just us. Unfortunately.
See, now you know why I don't like to live stream on YouTube because no one.
Well, that's only because you only have 88 subscribers. You gotta wait for them to grow. You gotta make actual YouTube videos and then do the streams.
I
You
don't
gotta
have
build it up.
patience for YouTube videos.
You
I
don't
don't know
even
how to
gotta.
do it. I don't even know how to do it properly.
All you gotta do is do what you're doing now, except that I'm not here and you're talking about literally anything. Like you finished Dark Nest, talk about it and upload it. That's it. You don't have to have any fancy intro or anything. You just literally upload you talking about it. And there's a video. You've done it. You're a YouTuber now. Doesn't require much. I mean, sure, if you want to be like really professional about it, that takes more time and effort. But if you just want to do it as a hobby, you just literally record something and upload it like you do on Instagram.
I should just make a whole video just talking about proving the EU is canon with just
Yeah.
a whole bunch of quotes and.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I made one video on April Fool's Day about how I was going to become a new canon fan exclusively. For some reason, I put Barack Obama crying as the thumbnail. I don't know why I decided to do that, but I did that. And it was just me saying as stone dead as possible why the EU was never canon while explicitly stating all the reasons why it was. And saying how I've changed my mind and I'm gonna read the High Republic. I'm only gonna watch the sequels. I'm never gonna touch the EU again because it's fan fiction garbage and it's not worth my time. And then that was my April Fool's video. I was very proud of it, but
So on Twitter, I don't know if you know who Darth Choco is. Darth Chocolate.
no, I've never heard of him.
He's a TikToker. He has me blocked on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
But I think he talked about how the new canon for the first time is having great continuity with the films and the books and comics, which we know is not true. It's not the first time that's ever happened. And I told that to him, and then he told me, well, the EU had great Easter eggs, but he mentioned, he just said, oh, it had the occasional Easter eggs, but then he described EU stuff going to the films. He said the EU becoming canon. So he's basically saying the EU was never canon. So then I had to debunk that, and I did.
Yeah.
And eventually, and then he brought up, well, Pablo Hidalgo's Central Reader's Companion contradicts everything you're saying. And I'm like, dude, first of all, you could, that freaking canon and continuity section in his reader, I have his Reader's Companion.
Yeah.
It's so, like, you can get a variety of interpretations from that. It's kind of how vague it is. There's nothing explicit in it. So, and even then, Hidalgo himself, if you use Hidalgo, it's like using Lucas to me, because Hidalgo and all the Star Wars Insider, people would ask him questions about the films. Guess what Hidalgo would source? He'd source the EU as answers. So
Exactly.
Hidalgo's a freaking hypocrite. So it's like, and so is Lucas. Lucas says the EU is a parallel universe, but then he says it's a part of his saga. So it's like,
the way to go about it is simply, because George Lucas has said a lot of things, but the simplest way to go about it is in his headcanon, in his personal view. George Lucas, it's his 6 films, that's it, in his headcanon. But to his company that had all the merchandising, all the promoting, advertisements, the company itself considered all the books and the comics and that stuff as canon. Officially, to his canon, all the books and stuff were, but to him personally, only the 6 films were, because he only considered things he worked on as canon. But to his company, it was. So, in all intents and purposes, the books and comics were canon to the universe. That's why they had to be decanonized in 2014. You wouldn't need to decanonize something that was never canon. Makes sense.
Well, and then he eventually, because I told him, Lucas licensing is pretty clear; it's considered canon unless contradicted by the films. And he just denied that and said, no, it wasn't canon unless it was in the film. So even though Lucas licensing has never said that, so and then he knows me, so
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah. If I do this real quick.
I mean, it's like he knew, because we've had debates about this before, and he still says that to me. Like, do you think I'm not going to say anything about it? I'd love to bring him on here.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
But he has me blocked, so I really can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't even ask him if I wanted to. Good old Darth Choco. He's read like most of the EU, but he still says it was never canon.
What? How you do
Apparently, whatever.
I have this right here. I don't know if that's okay, but like if you see this, okay, it's just like 4 minutes, but I literally I say it like, oh, hold on.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, oops. Hold on, sorry. I tried to say it like really seriously, like I was really sad that I've been wrong this whole time for reading the EU, and I like, because I try to say it as straight face as possible without like smiling or laughing on why I was wrong about the EU being canon, while explicitly showing all the reasons why it was.
I've been enlightened, and
I've been enlightened.
Yeah.
To sincerely apologize for the past 2 years reviewing the Star Wars Expanded Universe, now redubbed Legends, by Disney. And rightfully so. Disney should call these things fiction, fairy tales that are told, because these are all garbage, non-canon pieces of crap. I'm going to prove it to you. You know what? George, never, ever, 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 ever consider the EU canon. Remember that. You EU fans, you absolute morons. Remember this. George Lucas always stated that the 6 films were his movies and that everything else was another universe. Totally what he said. Definitely not taken out of context. Definitely not switching the words a bit. Definitely not what he said. And Lucasfilm, the company, most surely did not consider the EU canon. I mean, just look at this. I mean, they had a whole hierarchy about it, about how it's not canon. I mean, they had G canon for the 6 movies. They had C canon, books, comics, young adult novels, children's books, video games. All those were not in C canon. We had S canon for things that were a bit more iffy, that you could take or leave. That definitely wasn't a thing. T canon, which was entirely created for Dave Filoni with the television canon, but it only applies to his show. And then N for non-canon. Weird. I wonder why that's a section if all 4 of those other things I mentioned are non-canon. I don't know. It's really stupid. And then Leland Chee of Lucasfilm, to keep all the continuity together, he definitely didn't say that the EU must follow certain tenets through the films and other guidelines set by George Lucas. He never said that. And in Star Wars Insider 123, it definitely doesn't say that a great deal of attention and care have been put into fleshing out the Star Wars universe. Our fans are sophisticated and demand a cohesive approach. That was never a thing. I swear to God, this is all coming out of my brain. It's all made up. It's not true. Also, in Star Wars Gamer number 6, it definitely doesn't say that canon refers to what Lucasfilm considers an authentic part of the official Star Wars history. That was definitely never said. And I just want to formally apologize for being so utterly wrong on that, and how the sequel movies are actually just the gospel entrenched in a film, just the absolute standard for what you want to see in a movie, let alone a Star Wars movie, just movies in general. It is the peak of storytelling. Godfather, get out of here. Goodfellas, get out of here. I don't know why I mentioned 2 mom movies, but forget that fact. Citizen Kane, all those movies, none of them compare to the grandiose perfection that I was so blind to see before, which was the sequels. Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, all these things are the pinnacle of storytelling. There's not a single story you can watch that is better than those. Baby Yoda is actually one of the deepest characters you've ever seen in fiction. And if you don't realize that, you're actually just an ignorant fool who needs to castrate himself. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I am now going to abandon the EU forever, and I'm going to stick primarily and only to canon. I will review all the Disney books.
Absolutely. Baby Yoda is better than Luke Skywalker. He has always been.
Other book, comic. It's all coming, baby. All for you. So you can get the official and only one that counts and matters. Canon. EU, all that time and effort spent for years, for 30 years, none of that is true. It's all fake. It was fan fiction. And I'm sorry it took me so long to realize. I truly am a fool. And I apologize.
Legends is fiction. Cat is not. Absolutely.
Happy April Fools.
Right, that was it. I tried really hard to not smile or laugh, and I think I started to fail near the end. But that was that. So how's thank you. How's SWOTOR going, by the way? Because now you're going through that right now.
I just got on Quesh or whatever it's called. That world. I just got on that world.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if I'm halfway through the game or not.
You're nowhere near close to done. Because right now you're playing the base storyline. Well, EU, more like cringe. Absolutely
I
wrong.
know who
Bro.
that is. That's Jace. He's an old friend of mine.
But you have the base storyline where you have like a bunch of different classes. You have the Jedi Counselor, the Jedi Knight, Sith Inquisitor, Sith Warrior, all that stuff. Bounty Hunter. You have all those which each have their own story, set before like the main story, because it has the class specific story and then the main story of the base game, and then all the expansions delve into more stuff. So Shadows of Revan. What? Revan's back? It's like 200 years since he was alive. What? And then after that, there's the whole Eternal Empire thing. And then they bring Malgus back, and those are all things that make the game even longer. So if you play all of it, you'll be stuck in SWTOR forever.
I know. I was talking about Jedi Knight though. So do you
Yeah.
think I'm close to finishing once I get to?
Maybe, because I know that the end of it, you confront the Emperor, the first Emperor, and you defeat him. Kind of, he does something similar to what Darth Nihilus does to the whole planet. And
Don't
then
spoil it for me, bro.
Oh, sorry. Well, I mean, he did it in the Revan novel. Okay, so it's not like you don't know he could do that. But
Well, I knew he could do that. I didn't know he was going to do it again.
oh, I'm sorry. It's my bad. But it's okay, because the coolest parts of the game are when he's a bearded old guy. It's the best part of the entire. It's a lot more linear though, but I think it's overall better. How are you feeling about SWTOR in general, though, right now?
It's pretty cool, but I still have like I don't know. I know the basics, but I know there's still so much of it that I am missing.
No. I mean, all you
like missing like gameplay wise that I'm like cartel coins or whatever.
Yeah, I mean
PvP. I haven't done any PvP.
Yeah. I've never actually played it. I just sat through very long YouTube videos going through most of the gist of the story. So took out like any side quest that wasn't really relevant to the main plot. Took out, the gameplay of just walking around to places, and kept some gameplay into like important fights and whatnot, but tried to like just streamline the story. And even streamlining the story, that first video that's just on the base class Jedi Knight storyline is still 8 hours long. Oh, I'm here now. Hello. I have now taken control of this stream. I am now in control of this channel. Thank you for viewing my new channel, Lance. Oh,
I don't know what happened.
it's okay. You're back
I pressed
now.
the button on the side of my mouse, and I'm not touching the mouse no more. Anyway, I'm back.
Back again.
I'm gonna see if Iron answers me back. If he wants to log on.
Yeah.
Probably not. He's not even online on Discord, so. I don't know who else I can ask.
So you finished that first Dark Nest book, though, right?
I got through it. Yes. It was so boring, man. I don't. 400 pages of boring. Unseen Queen and Swarmwar are luckily a lot shorter.
They are a lot shorter. That's true.
I think Unseen Queen is 330 something. Yeah, 333. I don't know about Swarmwar. Let me check. My shelf is right here, so.
Alrighty.
I have to get down here, bro. I mean, look how skinny it is. Oh, it's actually longer. Well, never mind. 357, so.
Yeah.
Also, Luke said, he said in Darkness 1 that the Force has no sides. It's just the Force. And look, I get Jason believing that, but Luke should not believe that.
Don't worry, because he's gonna go back on that, and that's what pisses a lot of fans off. Or at least like Noah and all the people that hate post New Jedi Order, because they like that everyone after Unifying Force has been enlightened about the Force. Now they've all had changed perspectives because of the events of those books, and then Denning backtracks on it. Though I'm pretty sure that was a George Lucas thing, though I could be wrong on not wanting the Force to be like that. But yeah, he'll go back on it, and pretty much all the Jedi will, except for Jason, because Verge is his big trigger button, and he has a weird relationship with Verge, so he doesn't want to go back on that viewpoint about the
I get
Force.
Jason not going back on it, but but Luke believing that just
Yeah, no, I
he
understand.
he can he can understand what Vergier is saying and respect it, but believing in it full stop is ridiculous. That I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I
Luke
guess by
has
the end of the Unifying Force, that's what they were kind of trying to get at. Like all the Jedi were gaining new perspectives with the end of
that's
it.
great and all, but they shouldn't be believing and agreeing with Vergier because it's not right. The Force
Yeah.
has two sides,
Right? Yeah,
So
like Dagobah has a literal dark side cave, and there's multiple examples throughout the entire EU and the movies themselves that there is a clear spiritual, if you want to call it that, with the Force, light and dark. It's not merely just you finished Death Troop. I finished Death Troopers too. It was so good. I think it was weakened though by having special characters show up in it, but it was still a good book. There's a lot of atmosphere and tension in there. It's very, very good for the first 100 pages. Then it just went to okay once the characters that I won't say who show up. But
oh,
I mean, it's cool to have them.
I
So,
ordered Deceived the other day or yesterday.
Deceived?
Yep.
Oh,
Because
well,
I know.
yeah.
Well, because there's a lot in between the Revan novel and
Yeah.
Jedi storyline that I
The only
missed.
thing,
A war there that I didn't read about or anything.
the only thing that matters is the Nostaral Journal, Deceived, maybe Annihilation, and the comics that have um, that guy from the novel Annihilation, because that guy will play a bigger role in Shadows of Revan expansion and all the expansions moving forward. He'll become like one of your kind of side characters. But Fatal Alliance literally doesn't matter. I mean, it has one of Revan's descendants, but other than that, the book is boring and adds nothing to the actual story of the game that you'd be watching. And then, of course, the cutscenes, or not the cutscenes, the cinematic trailers help add to the story as well. Like the Deceived trailer is like the first couple chapters of the Deceived novel, and then the novel goes past what the trailer shows. But yeah, because basically in the Revan novel, which takes place, a little bit after KOTOR 2, Revan gets put away, put in stasis, and then 300 years pass, I think, or something like that, because it's Revan's descendant. It's not his children or his grandchildren. A lot of time has passed. So Revan, in a sense, did still give the Republic time to rebuild, because at the end of KOTOR 2, there was barely any Jedi left. And so if you give enough years, they build it back up like they have it in SWTOR to be able to deal with when the Emperor would finally come back and attack, which they did. But then they somehow weirdly came to like this peace agreement. And when you're in that base class game, they're kind of like in this weird like Cold War area where they're not supposed to be fighting one another, but everyone's trying to attack one another. It's weird. But yeah, that's kind of what you've missed. But it's not super. You're not missing much when the game tells you the gist of what you need to know. But
Well, I make it the Journal of Nostral or whatever hell's name is.
yeah, there's also some YouTube videos from the Old Republic YouTube channel that are just like these little short holo vids of Nosterol, which are kind of like companion pieces to the Nosterol journal, which kind of go over the history of what's been going on since the Revan novel. So that might help you as well.
What else should I get? There's there's the Book of Sith that I don't have. I have the Jedi vs. Sith Secret Guide to the Force. That's a great book.
Yeah, I think that's also a book that, I mean, I know it's mostly like information, but I think there is a slight story in there, and that would be after Legacy of the Force. Titus.
I know who that is.
I know him because I'm pretty sure I follow a group chat with him on Instagram. If I'm thinking of the right person.
Yeah, he goes to my live streams a lot on Instagram.
Yeah. My video is uploaded on Agents of the Empire. Self-promotion. Be like. Same guy. Oh yeah. There we go.
Hell yeah.
That's how we go. Time for me to go to that same Discord and share this live stream. There you go. Maybe that'll bring in more people. I sent it to Discord. I thought, that would do something, but apparently not. I tried. Let's bring Titus on.
Yes, Titus, you want to come on?
Come on and chat about the EU. Wow, you can do cool things like that. Yep, I'm gone. Oops, it was an accident.
I don't know what to talk about. I don't know. I have this comic that's kind of cool.
Oh.
It's not even an original copy, though.
Hmm.
I can prove to you how it's not an original copy. Look at the back there. Does that look like something from the early 90s?
No.
No. It's definitely a copy. But hey, it's still cool to have.
Do you not have access to your PC, Titus?
I also have some Fate of the Jedi books that my sister got me.
Oh, nice.
Years until I get to the series.
How many do you have, by the way?
I just have 3. Fate of the Jedi books. I need to get the rest of the series.
I think Omen's the second one. I think that's the first one. Omen's the second, I think.
Outcast is the first one.
Outcast the first one. Sorry, Outcast first one.
I think.
And then Omen's, I think, is the second one.
And they got freaking Mars ship in the chapter.
Oh, right, because they're flying around in it. I think Luke and Ben. They kind of go on this like road trip in space. It's kind of cool. They learn more about what happened to Jason before Dark Nest. Some of the stuff he did, places he went.
Then, of course, I have Legacy of the Force. I have the entire series. I have New Jedi Order, obviously, because I've read it all.
How do you feel about the Legacy of the Force art covers? I hear a lot of people complain about them.
Really? So
they're like
people are complaining about a cover like this.
they're like Jason.
Really?
Quality autism's like Jason looks like a emo teenager when he's supposed to be like almost 40. Which I mean, I can see that he looks a bit young in the pictures, but other than that, I don't think they're that bad. They're not my favorite art out of the entire EU, but they're not horrible. I like them more than Fate of the Jedi, which is just like a bunch of different colors with outlines of people, personally.
Quality Autism's just a hater.
He likes a lot of things. He just also likes to hate on basically anything post New Jedi Order, except for the Legacy comics. He does like the Legacy comics, except for the one part that has Verge, because John Ostrander seemed to be in line with what the Denning verse was doing. So,
Well, he
like,
had to be.
right? Yeah, but yeah, they make jokes about Verge, like the KFC chicken and all that, which is actually pretty funny. But but yeah, once you read all of it, you should do like a whole like this is why it's good or bad. You might agree with them. I don't know. You have to get through it. I mean, you already don't like Darkness, which is fair. They'd agree with you. Darkness is not great. Darkness was never my favorite. I never hated it, but the first one was definitely a slog within that trilogy. I think they get slightly better, but especially when it focuses more on Jason. Those are always my favorite bits of the trilogy. From memory, anyway. It's been a year. But if you like some of the decisions made in like episode 8 and stuff, then I don't think you'll have an issue with Legacy of Force as a whole. StreamYard time imminent. He is going
Do
to
I
come
have
on.
to send him an invite, or how do I do that?
On the... Well, I don't have all the features that you do, but there should be an option to like share the stream, and then it will show you like a link. You copy the link and you just send that to whoever you want to join. Or I could literally just copy the stream and send it to him on Instagram. But the problem is if he's going to go on his PC, then I would need his email. What I did is you sent it to me on Instagram, and I just copy and pasted it, emailed myself, and then used the link to get on. So
Yeah, Titus said to send the link, so can you send it for me? Sleepy.
When'd you go to bed?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
2 a.m.
That's not good. I woke up at 3 a.m. because I dreamt I got shot, and then I went back to sleep.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no, it was rough because I woke up and, like, you know how like you sometimes feel pain, even though nothing happened, but your brain's like just freaking out. So like I was just kind of sitting there for 3 minutes, like hyperventilating, before I could go back to sleep. But then it was fine. But
Nice. Sounds like fun.
yeah.
The Old Republic. I'm looking at this Old Republic Epic Collection, not Omnibus, Epic Collection. 1 to 6, Lost Sons. Ooh, Tribe of the Sith is in this.
Yeah. Lost Sons has what's his name? Theron Shan, who is the child of Satil Shan. I don't know, that might be a spoiler, I guess. That's my bad. But yeah, he has the same last name, so it's kind of obvious, but those focus on him. He's not a Force user. He's just a cool dude who can do stuff. And he becomes a bigger character in the games and Shadow Revan and moving forward. But you've seen all the Old Republic trailers, right? You just don't have any context for it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You've done more than Matt, I think. I don't think Matt's watched them.
How has he not watched them?
I don't know.
Like, I guess he's not a gamer, but
Yeah. I just don't think. I think people have asked him before if he's seen them. He's like, nah. I think he's just really lazy. I think he's just like, I can't watch it. I can read like 400-page books within a day, even though I got like 6 kids or whatever many kids he has. But I can't sit down and watch a 2-minute video. That's asking too much.
well, I'm trying to. There's a like a Blood of the Empire like short or not short, but trade paperback. Does that include the Lost Sons comics too?
I'm not sure.
There's a no it doesn't, because there's a separate Lost Sons trade. I might just start collecting the old trades, like not even the Epic collections.
Yeah, because I got on Kindle, I got the Old Republic comic stuff, which is very small, by the way. It's a very small portion of the timeline, and it's all before the class storyline, which is the Lost Sons one and the really bad art one that took place like right around the time of the Deceived novel. And that's pretty much like it for comics. There's not that many in the Old Republic timeline. But
Trying to get the Treaty of Coruscant comic, because I want to just. I'm sick and tired of. Oh, it's in the Thread of Peace.
yeah,
Thread of Peace is first issue. Oh, it reprints the webcomic, The Old Republic Thread of Peace, Act 1, Treaty of Coruscant. Nice.
actually, you know what you could do with the also. I mean, obviously, you can accept who would or wouldn't, but you can just do this. And if I go over to the actual live stream, do this. And then we can go bloop, 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 paste. There we go.
I think once I get my paycheck on Wednesday, my first one, I'll buy those comics.
Yeah.
That, or I may buy some Legacy comics. Because see, the Epic collections for Legacy, a lot of them are kind of expensive. So, but the original trades, I mean, it'll eventually add up. But I can at least get like the original trades. I used to have a note card where I wrote it down. I don't have to look it back up, but they used to sell, like normal comics, they'll sell trade paperbacks based on the arc, different story arcs. Like for Legacy, the first one was broken, so there's a broken trade paperback.
Yeah.
So I may just start buying those.
Yeah.
I hate collecting comics.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Comics can be a bit of a pain in the butt. Unless it's like Dark Times, where it's nice and simple because they got the nice Epic collections that have everything nice and simple. He's in now. The boy. He says so. Titus himself.
Here we go.
Hello there. Sounds like a chipmunk.
What the hell?
Yeah, what? Yeah, sorry, dude. Kind of sound like a chipmunk there. You still sound like a chipmunk. I don't know how that's happening. Oop.
Here, I'm gonna kick you out and bring you back. You made it out of work.
Very bizarre.
No, it didn't work.
You said he's got to restart. It's okay.
Oh, I'm gonna go back to looking up
Yeah.
stuff, comic stuff.
I had brought up the Old Republic timeline thing from the Old Republic website as, I don't know, background noise maybe while you look up stuff, and maybe I could help you with some of
Am I
that.
normal now?
Oh, yeah, you are.
All right. So here's the issue. I can my audio is normal, right? But the thing is,
Yeah.
you hear y'all out of my PC speakers and not the headset. So
Hmm.
we got half the job done, huh? So there's more technical difficulties. Hold on.
So I literally felt that last night. It's okay. I tried to make it. I tried so hard. I just wanted to make a video about me being on YouTube for 8 years because I had
Yeah.
passed 1,000 videos and I sound like a robot. I was trying to show YouTube videos. They couldn't see it. They could hear me fine, but they couldn't see what I was talking about, and it was just a whole lot of crap. So I'm gonna try again later today, but hopefully that goes well. But yeah, because I was like, I looked at my channel. I was like, wait a second. It says that I have 1,000 videos. What? And so I was like, maybe I should make a live stream about that or something. But because my legacy on YouTube goes beyond my channel, so I was gonna like get into that, but it was just
My
going
legacy on YouTube.
yeah, well, I've
Okay.
had quite a journey. I've gone from making stupid gaming videos to talking about a couple TV shows to religious stuff. I've done a couple bits of that, and then Star Wars. And then aside from my YouTube channel, I did a bunch of gaming on my friend's channel, and then also on that friend's channel, we started doing live action things, which were like funny content. And then also on my other friend's channel, who has the most subscribers out of all of us, with 3,000 subscribers, only because he makes stupid anime videos, and that for some reason got him a lot of subs. He made like one anime iceberg video, and now he's like at 3,000. But he has this whole series that's live action that I've been in. So I've been all over the internet for some time now. So that's what I was going to talk about, but then it got all screwed up last night. So I feel the pain of technical difficulties. Where are you, Titus? You were just here. What are you doing, Furball? That's how much of a nerd I am. I do that when I read books.
You left.
Yeah, he did. When I read books, I'm my own audiobook. I don't read like the action or like just describing things. But if a character is talking, I treat it like a script, and I'll start doing I usually do that when nobody's home, because obviously it'd be a little embarrassing when people are home. But yeah, you read those Brian Daly Han Solo books, right? Like, hey, Chewie, get this spark plug or whatever. And I'll just start doing that because I'm stupid. I don't know. But it's fun.
I actually have the Han Solo books, kind of.
Brian Daly ones or AC Crispin?
Well, I have both.
Mm.
But I have it in this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have a collection of all three of the Brian Dalys, but it looks different than that. It has the legacy of, what is it called? The Lost Legacy, or whatever it's called. cover, but it has all 3 stories in it. That one was actually really interesting, that final Brian Daly one, because it talked about Zim the Despot, which we don't really get much about, which is like a time before Dawn of the Jedi. So that's a really old time period that has never been delved into. There's a whole bunch of new EU material you could do with that if the EU ever got continued, just on Zim the Despot and the war that he tried to wage with his droids.
To be honest, though, I may just take a break from post Jedi, or in general, and just read other stuff in the EU because I'm kind of getting tired of it, to be honest. Which is terrible because I love post Jedi. It's what I got. It's how I got into the EU.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I may just start reading this, so I could read. I may read this and then read AC Christmas trilogy. To be honest, because I do have them.
Yeah, well, maybe you should try
Because I love
trudging through the trilogy you're already reading, and then maybe take a long break, and then go back whenever you decide to with Legacy of the Force, which I think is overall a better series than the one you're reading. Because you don't want to like stop on a downer, then pick back up on a downer. You know, drudge through the downer, then read some great stuff, and go back on what you'll either love or hate, depending on how you feel about the series overall with Legacy.
Well, maybe. Well, I do have Deceived coming in because I'm really on an Old Republic. Like I'm in love with
ever
Old
since
Republic.
since you've been playing the
So I
game.
should probably just stick with Old Republic before I read anything else. I may
Fair
read
enough.
Deceived next, actually.
Oh, he's gonna
I
try
can read
again.
Unseen Flame later.
But if you do Deceived, definitely I recommend, because I mean I'm sure you've already seen it, but you finish those chapters in the temple and then you rewatch that trailer real quick, and then you continue on reading the book, and you get that little bit of like, you know, testosterone level adrenaline from watching Malgus kick butt, and then go read the rest of the novel, because it starts with that trailer, pretty much, and it's so much better watching it than reading it. But because Malgus is so cool.
All right.
Oh.
Everything's all right this time, right?
Yeah, you sound great now.
That's great. That is great. All right.
You don't sound like a chipmunk no more.
Yeah.
that happened a lot, especially when virtual school was around for me last year. My sophomore year, it was terrible. It's because I plugged in like a headset with a mic piece, and it would always just have the chipmunk effect. I don't know why.
That's no good.
But that just takes a little bit of working it out, and now here we are.
Here we are.
So
first I think I'm hearing you.
I don't know, because I remember the first time I went live was with you know Quinlan Voss, right?
Yeah.
The YouTuber. Yeah. I went live with him like back in September last year, August last year maybe.
Literally 90% of the physical books that I own are thanks to Quinlan. Quinlan decided for Christmas, he asked his parents, he just went over, got 2 big boxes, because he had a bunch of extra copies of books, and just sent them my way. He didn't make me pay for anything. He just said, "Hey, I got these for you." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I just gave you a bunch of books because I had extra." I was like, "Thanks, dude." And so, and he had a whole like sweet card that he left me too, because we're chilling, and so it was really nice. It was one of the nicest things. I was like, man, that's crazy, because he also like actually watched my videos. He's like, because you know you're always cool with me, you always chat with me, because you make cool stuff, decided to get you some stuff. I'm like, man, I literally sit in my room. I literally sit in my room in my gym shorts from high school, talking about Star Wars on my couch, and here this guy is sending me all these books. So if you ever see a physical book, most likely from my videos, it's because of him.
I was unaware of that. I remember one time you mentioned something about waiting for your opinion on Dawn of the Jedi Into the Void. Oh, it was something funny. I don't remember what it was though, but I brought it up. It's bad.
It's bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what he said too.
Oh yeah.
But I had mentioned the stream because on your other account, you had hopped in the stream for like a little bit, but you didn't stick around because you had work, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that.
It's crazy that YouTube is such a crazy thing because this whole Star Wars journey of going from being disappointed with the sequels to finding out about the EU, finding out that EU YouTubers even existed, sitting there devoutly watching Matt Wilkins' videos, watching streams, getting excited when he would simply reply to a comment of mine, to him including me in a live stream. And since that one time that he's included me in a live stream, I've had more than just him invite me on stuff. I've had Lance here invite me on. I've had
I'm not as special as Matt.
You're pretty special too. You're pretty big on the Instagrams. Okay, you got a lot of followers.
I guess that's true.
You're pretty influential. All right, I'm talking to a big guy here. All right, not to float your ego or anything, but and then 2 Star Wars nerds. They're great people. They also have invited me on multiple times. So it's crazy that I went from just wanting to explore a better universe to having all these friends over vast distances because of Star Wars. That's just kind of incredible.
It's quite a journey.
It is an unexpected journey, as the Hobbit would say.
Yeah, I guess I've had a pretty similar journey, but I guess I haven't invited to Matt streams yet. So,
well, that's because you don't make YouTube content, and
Yes,
so he doesn't. I was like, because how that started was all I was saying, I wasn't expecting anything from it. I was just telling Matt because he released his first New Jedi Order video, and I was like, I just released my video like yesterday on Vector Prime, and he's like, what? You have a YouTube channel? I'm like, I mean, yeah. And he's like, what is it? And then he looked it up during stream, saw my videos, subscribed, then told other people to subscribe, and then I was like, all right, man, thanks. So, but
Matt is a celebrity, I guess.
He is a celebrity.
Matt Wilkins. I mean, you got freaking profile pictures, Matt Wilkins.
That's just a meme I have. I also have a similar picture as my cover photo on Twitter. Which I haven't had Twitter for years, but I got it back a little bit ago, and so I just put Matt as my background. It's really funny. I am the EU Star Wars nerd.
We should all start a campaign where we go on a Matt Wilkins stream, and all of our profile pictures is just Matt.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
I looked up Matt Wilkins on Google, and I found this picture.
Oh yes, I used that as Matt Wilkins is my father. I don't know if you've ever seen that video. That was during one of the live streams during COVID. And
can you even see that?
I can't see that at all.
Barely. It's very bright.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe this will work. I put my brightness down. Oh, you can see it now.
Yeah,
Look at Matt.
It's a bit visible.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, oh shoot. Look at Matt. Look at my boy. That's funny. Shoot, I'm gonna make some of these my profile picture. Well, I will.
All right. It's pretty great.
Lance, I know I haven't asked in a good minute. How far are you on to what's called Legacy?
I haven't started it yet.
I swear
the Legacy comics.
The comics, not Legacy.
I'm on like issue. I'm on like issue 20 something. 23, I think. Sorry, I have been lagging behind on that series. I've been reading so much. I've been playing SWTOR, and I've been working now, so I haven't had a lot of time to do stuff. But I need to get back to that. So, but I'm like issue 23. I think where Cade goes to visit Nat Skywalker, or whatever's Bantha Rock, whatever he's called. Because I remember earlier in the series it says, "Oh, I'm the last Skywalker," and I'm like, or Cade says that, or something. Someone says that, and I'm like, "No, you're not. Nat Skywalker's still alive." So I don't know. I guess I'll see what happens with that. But he's old too. Like, why is he like Cade or Cole wasn't that old?
Well, because I think that Nat is a way older brother. Like he was. Well, also you got to remember that there's been like quite a few years since the beginning of that comic where Cade watches his dad die. So some time has passed. So Nate probably didn't look like that back during that flashback. But time has passed now, so he's older.
Is his name Nate or Nat?
I think
Nat,
it's Nat.
Nat. Yeah, sorry, I'm saying Nate. I'm just Nat, whatever.
I say Nat. I guess
Nat.
Nate wouldn't be a bad pronunciation. Probably sounds better than freaking Nat.
Yeah.
His name is Nat.
I mean, it probably is Nat, but I don't know. Nate sounds like an actual name. Like, who names their kid Nat?
Isn't that like a bug?
Yeah, I think so.
Nat is a very interesting Skywalker, though.
Yeah, Evan. What's his name? Evan Noah. Not Evan Noah. There's a guy that does like these versus battles on the EU specifically on YouTube, and he did one on Cole Skywalker or like the feats of Cole Skywalker, but he also talked about Nat in there as well to help figure out like how powerful is Cole in comparison with other like grandmasters and stuff, and it was really interesting. But he also had to use Evan Nova. Thank you, Steve. Yes.
What's up, Sheev?
Evan Nova is really cool though.
Did I disconnect?
No, you're still here.
I'm about to say because Lance's screen like just froze up for me. Then I didn't hear any of y'all anymore.
Oh,
My bad.
It's very confusing.
no, sorry, man.
It's all good.
Matt Wilkins is my father, though. It's confirmed. May 30th, 2020.
No, Naked Palpatine's your father. If y'all were at Matt's stream, y'all would know what I'm talking about.
Man, it was meant to be a joke, but I was the one that became the joke.
I'm going to make a meme with that, by the way. A Naked Palpatine Alex meme.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah,
I don't know how I'm going to do it, though, but I will do it.
Because I think Matt or Noah mentioned, because I was trying to figure out which was my favorite Sith Lord. Hey, Blue Pig. I was trying to figure out who's my favorite Sith Lord. Because I said, but I can't say Palpatine because we're talking about EU villains, and he's technically a movie villain. And then Noah was like, "Oh, you can say Dark Empire Palpatine." And so as a joke, I was like, "Oh yeah, naked Palpatine," because of that famous picture where he's like out of the vat naked, and that was just used against me. So it didn't help that I said that's the first thing I think of when I think of Dark Empire, but it is.
Yeah,
it's the famous picture.
I know this has nothing to do with the conversation at hand. well, at least in somewhat similar. The topic is Dark Empire, okay?
Okay.
But it's this post on the Star Wars EU subreddit, and it was something like a theory that Dark Empire Palpatine is not actually Palpatine, but it was Chronal. And I don't know.
It's a weird one. Pretty sure that the comic heavily shows that it is Palpatine, but
I don't know why the theory is just like suggesting, oh, it was Lord Shadowspawn.
No.
It's
Yeah,
Vitiate.
Vitiate never died.
Vitiate's 8,000 comeback.
His 8,000 comeback. Yeah, you'll notice if you play through the entire game, he does tend to do that. He does eventually, unless they backtrack on that in a future expansion. He is supposed to be dead. So we'll see if that remains true. I think they're trying to bring Malgus as the big bad now because of the fact that they got rid of their best villain of the game. So that's like their second best. So even though he shouldn't be back either, but whatever. But yeah, because you have Vitiate in the base game, and then you head over and you get Valkorion, who's the old man with the beard. He's Supreme Prophet Caden.
When is Tenebrae coming?
The Dragon of Zakul. He's such a good voice. It's such a cool voice. I love Valkorion. I just stick old guys with beers. It's really powerful. Can't help it. Oh. Oh, God.
It's so
Oh,
thick, like, I could
behave.
hardly make it out.
There you go, Alex. In case you wanted that.
Yeah, man. That's what I've been waiting for my whole life.
Supreme Prophet
to dawn.
What? I don't understand.
I think that's from the Jedi Prince books, I believe.
Oh, I haven't read those. Probably should read them.
So those are the so bad it's good category.
Yes, the Chad himself, Trioculus.
Yeah, and you get Ken Palpatine, the original
legend.
grandson, the original grandchild of Palpatine, which they did nothing with after the fact, which is why Quality Autism Noah is trying to finish that off.
And the sequel trilogy, the new 3 installments for the Jedi Prince series.
Maybe Ken Palpatine becomes Waru.
Yeah, I think Noah plans on finishing off because they didn't actually finish off the series. He's trying to finish off the series of Jedi Prince, and he wants to put Ken and see what was going on with Ken during New Jedi Order and further down the line. So he just wants a Ken expanded universe. He's very excited about it. I have to say, it's pretty good, though, what he's writing. I'm not going to lie. All my grievances aside with Noah, it's really good. Up close and personal, you can see Palpatine's lightsaber. Oh God! And in the Quality Autism Discord, Blue Pig is slandering my name. Jeez Louise! Oh,
I'd kick him off the stream for that.
Yeah.
Put user in timeout.
That's funny.
I blocked him for 5 minutes.
Oh, what? No, don't
I
block
didn't
him.
do that. It was
No.
I don't know how to undo it. I didn't know it would do that.
How'd you block Blue Pig? I'm sorry, Blue Pig.
You know what? That's what he gets for bullying you. That's what he gets.
Only you're allowed to bully me and Matt.
I don't bully you.
No, not yet. But you could. I
Not
give you
yet.
permission.
I bully EU haters. I don't bully EU fans. How can I unblock him? I was just joking. It won't let me do it. Oh well, he may just have stuff with it.
Yeah. Sorry, Blue Pig.
Oh, what did I do? What is y'all's favorite EU book? Go.
Oh dang, that's hard.
Like when you say book, you just mean like novel, right?
I mean, yeah, novel.
Got you.
You go first.
Me?
No, Titus.
Probably Dark Lord, Rise of Darth Vader. In like all honesty,
That's an interesting pick.
like it was my first EU novel, and I only read it because it had Darth Vader on it. That was gonna be good, and
it was good.
It was fantastic.
However, it's not my favorite book of Lucino. Hands down, that goes to Darth Plagueis, which is his masterpiece.
Cloak of Deception.
You would say Cloak of Deception. That's really interesting.
No, I'm saying I thought you were gonna say Cloak of Deception.
Oh no! His masterpiece is Darth Plagueis. I do like Cloak of Deception, though. I mean, Verge even shows up in it, so that's pretty cool. So that got me happy, even though she doesn't do much, but she's there, which makes me happy. Yeah. So, a missed opportunity was, though, in the prequel era was Rogue Planet. I was very let down by that book. It was very boring. Yeah, it's very boring for a good portion of it. Whenever it focuses on Anakin and Obi-Wan, there's some really sweet, good moment. Like there's a part I remember specifically that stood out to me, and I haven't forgotten it, where Anakin's saying something about like how he really appreciates and is thankful for Obi-Wan, and he's still like Christopher Lloyd at this point, or Christopher Lloyd, whatever his name is, the little kid. And he just gives him a big hug. And for some reason that really stuck out to me. I just thought it was really sweet, knowing what happens down the line. It was just a really innocent, sweet moment between the two of them. So I really dug it. But whenever it's not focusing on that, they're just on the planet with these seed ships, which are in New Jedi Order. So I mean, that's a cool connection, but it's so because they're trying to find Verge, and the whole book, they're just meandering and meandering and meandering some more, and I just don't care. I mean, Anakin does something cool by the end. If you've read New Jedi Order, you already know what he does in that book. So, but overall, just a big letdown.
The question is, though, would you rank it higher than the Approaching Storm?
Yes, absolutely. Approaching Storm is awful.
Even with all the meandering.
Yes, even with all the meandering. The Approaching Storm is nothing. It's a nothing story. There's nothing going on. They go, okay, so this planet, for some reason, more important than the other planets, we must make sure it does not turn to the Separatist side. Okay, we go there. What happens? Let's walk around the planet. Okay? What happens in the next 50 pages? We're still walking around the planet. What is Obi-Wan doing? He's talking about, I've never seen my mom before. I mean, I figured you're a Jedi, so you were raised in the temple. It's like, I wonder what my mom was like. Awesome. What did that add to anything? Nothing. Moving forward, the best character in that book is Barriss. I did like the Barriss sections. But other than that, I could have done without that entire novel. The exciting prequel to episode 2, my butt. It is a nothing story. It's so boring. It makes Lance has been complaining about Dark Nest. I would read Dark Nest 100 times over, ever reading Approaching Storm again. It was so boring.
You know, I was gonna touch on something like that. So would you read, what's it called, Siege and Gambit, for an infinite amount of time, rather than the Approaching Storm?
Man, you just keep picking the worst ones. Fine, I guess I would read Approaching Storm more often than I would read Siege and Gambit. Dude, Siege and Gambit. Siege and Gambit is not only boring, it's entirely detrimental to the entire story of the prequels, because Obi-Wan and Anakin talk about their feelings so much in these books. You would think that they would have no issues moving forward, because their biggest issue is that they don't talk about stuff, that they don't talk to one another, that they don't have that trust. But they complain and dissect their issues so much in those books. You're like, damn, why do they ever have issues? They should just be like, they've talked through all of it. They should be good. But no. And then there's also the sex buddy. And I mean that, not ex-girlfriend, a sex buddy of Obi-Wan, because that's something Obi-Wan would do. He has just somebody he used to have sex with, just like because, and she's dying of space fish. Like, no joke, she's dying from space fish. Yeah, she ate bad fish, and she's dying from it. And I'm supposed to care about this character that I've never met before. That's just like introduced in this trilogy or in this duology, and it's awful. It's an awful book. And then Anakin, you know, he's a bit of a creep sometimes, but he's like overly like sexual. Like he's like they're at a dinner with like Bail and Obi-Wan, and he's like trying to get in her pants in like in the next room. I'm like, bro, like hold your horses, relax a minute. I know it's been a while since you've seen her, but by God, relax. Wait till they're gone or something. But I don't know this, and it reads like fan fiction. It's so if you want my thoughts, I did an entire video crying about it. So it's probably my least. I said it, and I meant this, and I still mean it. The sequels are better than that duology, and I don't like the sequels.
That's pretty sad.
Well, that's something. I'm gonna, after this stream, I'm gonna rewatch that Siege and Gambit video for sure. Gotta hear this one. The Karen Miller special.
The Karen Miller special. My thumbnail, my thumbnail for that video was Peter Griffin vomiting on his floor. I didn't give it the respect it deserved by giving it an actual thumbnail. So
is Wild Space more bearable than the Siege and Gambit duology?
Slightly, only slightly. It's also a boring book with nothing happening. The only positive it has is the scenes with Bail Organa and Obi-Wan. But even then, it's dragged out. And then oh, it's another thing that Siege and Gambit does. It goes, oh, Obi-Wan's in pain because of the events of Wild Space. He's reeling from the dark side effects that poisoned his like soul or whatever. But it's never addressed in any other Clone Wars story. It's only her books where he's having this issue. And they also go to this Sith planet that we never hear about in any other story ever. She just made it up because she couldn't do the due diligence to at least include a planet that already exists. So she just makes up one that never existed. I don't care. I don't care about what's going on. I don't care about the story. I was expecting when Matt talked about it, he's like, oh, this is a great story building on Obi-Wan and Bale's whole like relationship. I'm like, it barely even does that. So Karen Miller is probably, if I had to make like a top 5 worst EU writers, she's probably number 2 or 1. I hate her, but she could be a great person. I have no issue with her as a person. I don't know her. She could be great. She could be terrible, but her books are absolute garbage. Every single one.
Alex, when you look at her Wikipedia page, the quote, you know you're talking about fan fiction, right?
Yeah.
Let me read you the quote. I've always thought that tie-in novels were professionally produced fanfic, and if they're not, there's something wrong. There you go. Yes, that's the quote. That's on Wikipedia. And then the source. Let me go to the source. Oh my God! It's the Karen Miller website. Oh my! This was posted in 2009 when she made a quote about fanfic. Jesus.
Yeah.
You know what? After this quote, I think this is the best EU author, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Let's see what else she said. I mean, this is freaking hilarious. What other books has she written?
No.
To my knowledge, it's the Clone Wars stuff. And the present short story, Roll of Dice.
Oh gosh.
Wait a minute, Roll of
That's
Dice.
awful.
I've seen this before. This was included in the Star Wars Insider Fiction collection that came out.
On the Quality Autism Discord, my face has replaced Luke's as the lightsaber tip is touching naked Palpatine's lightsaber tip. They have
What?
so there's a panel from Dark Empire where like Luke Skywalker and naked Palpatine are very close with their lightsabers clashing, like looking into each other's eyes. And they've replaced Luke's face with mine in the Discord.
The meme is evolving.
Yeah, the meme is evolving. I'm telling you, that first comment, he's naked for a little bit, right? It's perfectly justifiable to say that when you think of Dark Empire, you think of Palpatine naked.
No, that's not justifiable at all. I think of that picture with him with those guards at his side, not freaking naked Palpatine.
But it's a famous picture, him coming out of the vat.
It's maybe it's famous, but not to everybody else.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, bro. Like, oh, someone uploaded a YouTube video called "Disturbingly Naked Palpatine Gameplay" from Battlefront 2. Must have been a mod or something.
No, I'll have you know that I am. You're reading the Legacy comics. I'm firmly in the Delilah Blue camp. Okay, I enjoyed every panel of her. Darth Talon, whatever. It's Delilah Blue all the way. Oh my gosh, Palpatine. But look who's looking up right now. Not me. It's Lance.
Yeah, I'm gonna save this. I'm saving this for later. What I said? Oh my gosh, bro! Look at this.
Oh, what is that? Is that a puppet?
It's an action figure. It's a naked
I have a fan base. I don't think so. I think you're making that up. I have a lot of pictures of Buff Jar Jar. That's the first thing I think about when I hear Dark Empire. Palpatine, him naked. Dang it, Josh is here. Josh is the co-host usually to Quality Autism's YouTube channel. He's a cool guy. He's British, so that means he's always right.
They don't always win, though.
Yeah, that is so true. That is yeah. I mean, there's a reason they lost.
They suck.
Yeah.
Their loss is what influenced Star Wars.
Yeah.
Remember that. All you
Remember.
British Star Wars fans.
Remember, the entire empire is British. What does that say? Am I right?
Means they're evil.
Exactly.
I should retitle the stream "Being Racist Against British People."
At least we don't surrender like the French. That's true.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Was it the French? Who had the wall that the Germans just walked around? Because they only put the wall up on one
I know
side.
what you're talking about. It was
The Berlin Wall, right? I forget which. It was somewhere.
different. I know what you're talking about because I learned it in history class.
It was just really funny because they only put the wall on one side, so they just walked around, came in the other way.
I don't remember.
It's really funny though. Yeah, so I've ranted about the Siege and Gambit, which pretty much is universally hated. I don't really see that many people defend it, even though it's well rated on Amazon for some reason, along with Approaching Storm, which is also garbage. Here's another bad book for you: Fatal Alliance in the Old Republic era, since that's what you're currently going through. Absolute garbage book. It's awful. That drags harder than. Okay, hold on. I don't know if I can say it drags harder than Approaching Storm, but it does drag a lot. It's really not that good of a book. It's pretty bad.
Revan is a great book. Screw any of those who say otherwise.
Dang, I guess you wouldn't like the Quality Autism server because a good portion of them.
You're
don't.
right. I don't want it.
That's so true. Everything
has good ratings on Amazon.
I have yet to read Revan, but from what I hear that it supposedly retcons, I don't like the sound of it.
It doesn't. In fact, it makes KOTOR 2 better, in my opinion.
Oh, damn! You're gonna piss so many people off with that, but I love that. That's a great. I think I agree.
I mean, spoiler:
I have to read the book.
Beatrice shows up in it as a
Yeah.
cameo. I mean, it ignores KOTOR, and then it mentions
To be fair,
KOTOR 2 in it.
It does. I mean, to be fair, it does kind of just like gloss over KOTOR 2 and simplifies it to an extreme degree. Like, there's like, oh, Kreia was a Sith. Well, she was a Sith who trained 2 other Sith who then got betrayed by those 2 Sith, so kind of became like this gray Jedi where she didn't really believe in the Jedi or the Sith, and she just wanted to kill the Force. And then
That's exactly what happened, though.
Yeah,
in the game.
But the book is just like, oh, she was a Sith lady, and Mitra defeated her. That's kind of like all they say, which is kind of dismissive. But
I think that the main thing is like it just extends beyond the Revan novel, like SWTOR as a whole. I think it's because it doesn't really follow with Chris Avalone's original idea for KOTOR 3, the true Sith, and all that.
Sure, and I see that point, and I understand it. Josh has said something similar, but at the same time, KOTOR was a BioWare game. It was made by BioWare. SWTOR is made by BioWare. KOTOR 2 was only made by Obsidian and, helmed by Chris Avalon because BioWare didn't have time. Because I think at that point in time, they started work on their own original franchise, Dragon Age. And so they just gave it to Obsidian. So, like, I get it. A lot of people consider KOTOR 2's story better than KOTOR 1. That's a fair argument to make. I can see that. But it's not theirs. Like, they were playing in somebody else's ballpark, and then they wanted their game back, and then they did something with it. Whether you like it or not, it was theirs in the first place. So, I'm less...
I get that.
Yeah. But I completely understand. Like, I love KOTOR 2. I think in every way, story-wise, it's better than KOTOR 1. However, I think it's way more boring gameplay-wise than KOTOR 1. I'm thinking about specifically like all the places you go, like Nar Shaddaa. Like, I can't even name like any of those side missions. Navigating it was boring. It's LucasArts, but it's made by BioWare. It was a
LucasArts is
BioWare-made
just a
game.
publisher. They don't actually make the game. They published
Exactly.
it. That's
They
different.
published it.
So Alex, you tell me you prefer Manon to Narshada.
Absolutely.
I can't rock with that person.
Manon had that entire side plot with the me being Better Call Saul going into the going into court to defend my defendant. That was amazing. That's what RPGs are for. It's not to do a bunch of these fetch quests and boring side missions. It's to have that sort of role playing feel, which SWTOR does abundantly throughout the whole thing, and KOTOR 1 does that brilliantly too. They have wonderful side quests throughout. I think the main story KOTOR 2 is better, but they fail in a lot of other areas that where gameplay matters. And I think a lot of the oh my gosh, Pragus, that first place,
Don't talk
that's
about progress.
it's so boring. It's so boring. You can't wait to get out of that place. Once you're finally out, you're like, oh yeah, finally the game's gonna become fun. No, you go to Nar Shaddaa. You continue to be bored. It's so I hate the level design of the second game. I don't know, something about it. I just never was like, oh, I'm having fun exploring right now. But that's just me. It might have been because they had less time to make it, but
Alex, don't skin me alive when I say this, but I find Terrace equally as boring as Paragus.
no, that's fine. I can see that.
Like, I don't know.
Oh, see, something that me and Josh agree on. I think the music is so peaceful on Manon, and the court case is awesome. Oh, you messed it up? Oh, I'm sorry. If you, by the way,
The court
Lance,
case is like meme. It's like a meme.
yeah,
It's like a meme potential with that.
if you fail, it's such a meme potential.
It's like we're trying to defeat a Sith who is going to destroy the Republic and everything, but let's go to court on Manon.
Yeah.
I don't remember why we went to court. I don't remember. Wasn't the free
Well,
like?
it was a free. Well, if you bring Jolie with you, he has a friend on Manon who's being accused of something, and so you're trying to figure out whether or not he's innocent or not of the crime that he's being accused of, and you go and do this whole like investigation, like going to the hotel, talking to other people, and you have this, and it's a whole thing, like the whole like lead up to that court scene is a lot of fun because like you have to do the investigation and figure things out. Is this guy guilty? Is he not guilty? And it's just a lot of fun, and that's what like, RPGs are supposed to do, is invest you like that. So yeah, KOTOR 2 is a weird color scheme. Everything's more muted, which works for places like Korriban, but not others. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, KOTOR 2 main story-wise is superior, I think, in every way, shape, and form. But in a lot of other aspects, I think it falls short, which is another thing with like, I think with the Fallout games, which are worked on not by BioWare and Obsidian, but by Bethesda Studios. And what I've noticed with like Fallout 3, 4, even 76, they're really good with exploring and getting like side stories in the universe. They're really bad at main stories because Fallout 3 is you need to go find your dad. Fallout 4 is you need to go find your son. Fallout 76 is I guess you're just exploring West Virginia, I guess. But Fallout New Vegas, right? You got this amazing main story with how do I go about saying it? Like you have different factions within it, different ways to go about the story. And the story is just like you get shot in the head and you're trying to get revenge for that. But it becomes so much more than that as you go through the game. And Obsidian is really good with their main stories. They excel with that. But they don't do as well with like fleshing out a world, I think. Korriban was scary in KOTOR 2. I agree. The whole vibe of KOTOR 2 is very dreary, very kind of hopeless, like the vibe it gives off. It's almost post-apocalyptic, even though it's not. It's a very dark, somber experience going through KOTOR 2. You know, if Lance, if you end up wanting more talking back and forth on your live stream, I'm sure if we invited Josh or something, he'd be down to tell us why we're wrong on many things. Josh loves telling people why they're wrong. What have you been reading, Titus?
What have I been reading? Well, for comics, I finished Legacy, and I best not talk about that now because I very much infuriated with that series.
You don't like Legacy?
No,
this
it's
is
sad.
interesting.
It's sad. I'm not gonna delve into spoilers or anything, but I'll just say that I liked it starting off right, and then the longer I read, I just detested Cade so much, and
But aren't you supposed to?
that might be the point. I don't know. I just can't tell. He's supposed to be what the main central character of the story. I don't know.
I mean, I can kind of understand that. I think the whole point is that when we think of Skywalker, we think of selfless, morally righteous, good person.
Mm.
So the whole point of Cade was to be basically the opposite to the name. He's more like Han Solo was, but kind of worse, because Han Solo at least had charm.
He has charm.
I don't think Cade really does have charm. I think he just comes off as a straight prick most of the time.
Yeah,
I think that's the point. I do think near the end of the series he changes into a beginning to become a better person. Perhaps
that's my issue. It's just that like he develops so late in this series. I don't know. It's just it comes off as goofy to me for some reason. I don't know what John Ostrander was doing.
No.
He spent like 40 issues of him just being a douchebag, and then at the tail end of the series, he wants to make him have a change of heart. Like I just don't get it.
I understand. Moral Anakin Skywalker has entered the chat. He's entered the afterlife.
It's like the opposite of the KOTOR comics for me. Like at first, I wasn't really feeling it.
I felt KOTOR's from issue 1 when the masters were just standing over all that.
Yeah, the schizophrenic covenant.
That was like the best way ever to be like, oh, I want to keep reading this comic with that first issue. Like nothing has hooked me like as well as just seeing that at the end of an issue and then trying to learn why the frick did they do that. But I really love the KOTOR comics. I think it's actually, after having read it, it's hard for me to decide what is my favorite comic, but I lean toward KOTOR because there's not a single moment where I read that entire series and I was not just either laughing my head off, genuinely feeling emotions, or just having a good time. So,
what about KOTOR War?
KOTOR War?
Yeah, what about
that one is not as great as the other 50 preceding issues were. I like that it dealt with the Mandalorian stuff a bit more, because in the KOTOR comics it's more in the background.
Mm.
So it's more of a thing in war, which I appreciated. I just wish they would have focused a bit more on the Mandalorian wars, because they didn't really. But it's also good in a sense, because I like that the KOTOR comics are like revolving around Zane, and that stuff's just all on the ground, like the war and stuff, because we're not focused on Revan or anything. But at the same time, it's addressed so much in KOTOR 1 and 2. I would have liked to see some of those events actually play out, but we don't really get to see any of that. But that's why, back to Lance's point about Revan actually making KOTOR 2 better, because yes, the true Sith or whatever, I get that. Chris Avlon was clearly building up to something, and they went a completely different direction in SWTOR. But with that, you still have this big impending threat that's heavily, what's the word? It's they're hinting toward it in KOTOR 2. And they obviously didn't mean vitiate, but I think he comes off threatening enough to warrant how they all sound and talk about this threat in KOTOR 2. But what am I trying to say? You have the Tales of the Jedi comics, where you have this huge war with the Mandalorians helping the Sith. And literally within the next decade, you have the Mandalorian Wars. So the galaxy is not, and then after that, after KOTOR 1, then you have Revan's Sith army attack. So the Republic has had almost never-ending war for just pretty much this entire time area. People have not known peace. It's just been war after war after war. And then KOTOR 2 is a bit more quiet, but it's also kind of a bigger deal for your character because there's a Jedi purge, but there's no grand army for the bad guys in KOTOR 2. They have a couple ships. That's it. This is not some world-ending threat. Now, Darth Nihilus could become one, but overall, KOTOR 2 is more quiet. Yeah, but KOTOR 2 is more quiet. And so, to the general populace, to the normal people in KOTOR 2, literally they have no idea that anything's going on. Only the main characters in KOTOR 2 know that there's a threat that has to be taken care of. And then, you get to the Revan novel, they find out about Vitiate. And all that, and by the end of it, they confront him. But because of Revan's influence, he stops Vitiate from showing up right away, like he originally planned on doing. It took 200 to 300 years, which gave the Republic time to breathe. If Vitiate would have shown up within the next 20 years, the entire Jedi Order would have been completely expunged forever, and the Republic would be gone. It is only because there was that time frame to build back up the Jedi Order, to build back up a Republic fleet, that they had the time and the ability to combat the threat, which they wouldn't have had before. So I think it still works for that purpose. The reason people get annoyed is because Avalon was hinting at a different type of Sith, whereas Vitiate is just bootleg Palpatine is Empire's. I don't agree, though. I don't think that's the case at all, especially when you get to the Eternal Empire expansion, because Valkorion doesn't really care about the Sith philosophy. He doesn't really care about the Jedi. He just wants to live forever. He could give two craps about the Sith agenda. He only ever used the Sith to further his own ends. He doesn't care. Whereas, say what you want about Palpatine being selfish, he does seem to genuinely believe in the Sith religion, I guess you can call it. He believes the tenets. He just, and the tenets are you become the most powerful Sith and you train an apprentice. And if they're not more powerful than you, then you continue to be the reigning one. But Valkorion has lived for so long, he doesn't care about either side. No, Palpatine wants to live forever, but he also believes in the Sith code, not Valkorion. Point is, KOTOR 3 would have been something different, where SOTOR and Vitiate is just derivative. I, again, don't agree. But yes, KOTOR 3 would have been something different had Chris Avalon been in charge of it, but he wasn't. So we have what we have, and I still think it's good. Is it as good as what might have been? I don't know. There's a lot of what ifs, what could have beens. Everybody complains about the prequels. Oh, well, it could have been Obi-Wan and Anakin for episodes 1 and 2, and then episode 3 could have just been a whole movie about Vader killing people, blah, 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 blah. But okay, shoulda, woulda, coulda. What we have is the prequels. So do the prequels have any merit? Any? Not at all. Let's talk about it with what we have, not on what could have been, is how I kind of go about thinking about it. Sequel trilogy, love it or hate it. That's what we have. You can't go, okay, but what you can, you can talk about
I'll be back in
what
just a second.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. The sequel trilogy, you can talk about, well, we could have done this or this, sure, but it's not good for. But if you're going to critique the sequels, you critique what was given. You don't go, well, but it could have been this. We could have had New Jedi Order instead of the sequel movies. Would that have been better? Absolutely, in my opinion. But that's not what we have. So I'll discuss what we have and see if it has any merit or not. I think even if the EU didn't exist, that there'd still be problems with the sequels. Whereas the prequels have many problems, and I will be one of the first people to admit that they have problems. However, I think there's a lot of things done right in them. In the same way that I think there are issues with SWOTOR, but I think it does so much good that I'm willing to overlook the issues that arise from it.
That's
Okay,
fair.
guys. So I hate to be a party pooper,
Mhm.
but
You're gonna go? You gotta go. All right.
yeah, I gotta go. So
It's all good.
I wish I
Just
could
come
like hand the live stream over to someone so y'all can keep talking, but I guess it's not how it works.
It's okay.
So
Well, it's been great being here.
I
been a
will
good
probably
time.
stream. I'll probably stream next Tuesday though, or
Hmm.
I don't know. Probably I don't know. I will stream again next week though. So
All right.
I don't know who to bring on though, unless you want to come on again, Alex and
Yeah.
Titus.
I mean, if
Uh,
I'm free, then
that
absolutely.
might be down.
I want to ask
Time
other
for-
people because I want to see if Sheev will come on, Sheev Talks, or someone else.
You can get Josh and Quality Autism on there and
Mhm.
start having debates.
I'm not ready.
Or
I can't debate
agreements.
League of Wars because
or agreements, because you seem to not like Darkness so far, so you might actually be on the same page with that. So,
I want to debate a Filoni fan.
Filoni fan. Well, you won't get any of that from Quality Autism, except for Blue Pig. If you bring Blue Pig on, he does like Filoni. So, and I mean, fair. There's I've like I said, I still like Filoni, but I have many issues with him that I didn't have before reading the EU.
Well, y'all know me. Do not like him at all. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. So y'all have a good
Alrighty.
rest of the day.
All right.
Everybody
Have a
else,
good one, man.
thanks for joining.
No problem.
So yeah, I'm out. You have a great day.
All right. Have a good one.
Goodbye.